Hi there, Smart Drivers. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you tonight about road rage and horn honkers. Yeah! Those people that just drive you crazy and you just want to follow them down and do nasty things. So, we're going to give you some tips and strategies to calm yourself. Stick around. We'll be right back with that information. Hi there, Smart Drivers. Welcome back. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you tonight about road rage and that you just, other drivers and road users just driving you nuts. And actually, my son today was talking to me about that. One of the roads I was driving down and the crazy speed limit they have on this road going out to the landing here in Vernon. So if you have any questions at all, drop me a note. We'll definitely help you out. Corey is here. Corey is the moderator, Bricks for Wheels. Tim is here and watching from Winnipeg. So if you have any questions about passing a driver's test, staying safe on the roadway, becoming a smarter driver, or starting a career as a truck or bus driver, definitely leave us a question. Definitely hit that thumbs up button. Consider subscribing to the channel. We can help you out with all of that. Katie is here and Pathfinder. Chris White, how are you, my friend? Anwar. So excellent. Awesome. A lot of people here tonight. And it's going to be a great stream. So the way that it works here is I go through the presentation. It takes me about 12 or 15 minutes to get through the presentation, and then we spend the remainder of the hour answering any questions you have about passing a driver's test and whatnot. So without further ado, let's get over to the PowerPoint presentation here, and we'll get through that. So as I said, tonight we're talking about road rage and dealing with pressures of social driving, what I call social driving. And for those of you who are new to Smart Drive Test, my name is Rick August. I am a licensed driving instructor, became that in 1997 in the province of Ontario. I'm also a certified driving instructor in Victoria, Australia, and I became a licensed driving instructor here in British Columbia as well. And you can see that my certificate, my license actually hanging up behind me here on the wall. 2006, I graduated from the University of Melbourne in Australia with my doctorate in legal history, which is the study of policing, courts and prisons, and my expertise, oddly enough, is in policing as it relates to traffic. And while I was going to university in Australia, I drove buses for Greyhound, so I have experience driving coaches as well. So if you want more information about that, you can read my autobiography. Just check down in the description there and you can find the link to that. New video this week, parking along a curb, and actually this was a fairly popular video. It's a little bit of an education for me going back and looking at some of the older videos that I've done on the channel that I'm now reshooting, and how much more I can cram into a very short video. This video went from 12 minutes to 4 minutes, and I covered exactly the same things I did in the original video. I just didn't quite pontificate quite as much. So it's a much shorter video. It's 4 minutes, quick, to the point, and will help you and give you tips and strategies to park along the curb if you're having trouble with that. Social driving, hurry up and go. This is the pressures that you're feeling from other drivers, especially making left-hand turns and trying to meet the gap. This pressure is very real when you're driving, and you have to work to focus on what you're doing, because this social pressure could very much get you into trouble. So this is one of the learning curves of driving safer, driving smarter, is focusing on what you're doing and moving away from the pressures of other drivers of hurry up and go. So you need to do this, you need to figure this out, because there's all kinds of things that you're going to be doing on your license test that you will not do after you begin to drive. For example, stopping completely at stop signs, driving the posted speed limit, charging yellow lights, not entering intersections that you can't clear. All of these things you cannot do on a driver's test, but you will. Everybody else in the driving world will be telling you to do this different, and you have to work against that, which is really tough when you're working to get a license. The driving task, there's 6 components to the driving task that you're doing, and all of these are variables that you're dealing with as a driver as you're trying to stay safe or working towards getting your driver's license and preparing for your driver's license. So the drivers can be of any ability in any kind of physical, emotional state. The vehicle, we're dealing with any kind of vehicle on the roadway: cars, light trucks, big trucks, buses, bicycles, motorcycles, pedestrians, and scooters. All of those are different types of vehicles. Traffic, road, the makeup of traffic can be completely different at any different place, and it changes all the time because traffic is dynamic and fluid. The roadway, you can be on an interstate, a residential road, multi-lane, city, urban street with complex intersections and those types of things. Light and weather, and all of these 6 factors are changing all of the time. This is one of the things that you're dealing with as you're out driving around in traffic, and you're also dealing with other drivers who are of that mentality of hurry up and go. They're following too close, they're speeding, all of those types of things, and they're honking and getting you to go faster. So that's what you're up against. And traffic crashes happen more often than people like to think. They're one of the top reasons for death in first world countries, and I use that term loosely, in first world countries. So you should be afraid, and people that have some anxiety and fear around driving, it is real. Many people are more afraid of sharks than they are of traffic crashes, but the reality is that you are much, much more likely to die in a car crash than you are of a shark attack. Okay, so again, it's what you are exposed to. If you're off the, in the ocean off the shores of South Australia, and you're doing that on a daily basis, then yeah, there's a high probability that you're going to be eaten by a shark. But most of us spend much, much more time in motor cars, and that's why we're much more likely to be killed or injured in a motor vehicle crash. So aggression can be anything from major to minor, and minor signs of aggression can be horn honking, hand gestures, flashing lights, and yelling, and those types of things. All of that is minor. And generally, every couple of weeks or so, I get told to slow down in front of the high school here in Vernon. Vernon Secondary High School doesn't have a school speed zone, but there's always people that think that just because you're in front of a school that you have to drive 30 kilometers an hour, when in fact you don't. You have to drive the speed limit in residential areas. Okay? Major aggression: using the vehicle as a weapon, following you, braking, checking you at high speeds, and physical violence. All of these are major signs of aggression, and road rage. And if you do get somebody who is going to road rage on you, do not engage. Do not open the doors. Do not unlock the doors. Do not roll down the window. Do not take pictures of the person. Do not talk to the person. And do not, drive to a public place. Don't drive home. That was the last one I was going to say. Don't drive home if they're being aggressive, because if you do anything, it could exacerbate the situation and they could become much more violent. Now, the other thing, keep in mind that a person can only stay angry for a couple of minutes. So if you don't engage, you don't instigate the situation, then they're usually going to calm down. They're going to bang on your car or something, and then they'll just drive off. Okay, once they've had it out. So let them have their crash somewhere else. We get so torqued when somebody cuts us off on the roadway or something like that, and the person may not even have known that they cut you off. And I'll tell you a story after this about a friend of mine who I'm still in awe that he did this. But anyway, are you a safety for all driver? Do you think that everybody else should drive the way that you are driving on the roadway, and those types of things? So pay attention to your own driving. And the other thing is, you simply don't know who's in the other vehicle. You don't know how much they're going to go off on you. Are they going to go off a little bit, or are they going to go off a lot? And they have absolutely no regard for public safety or your safety or their own safety, and they're just going to go out. So have that, know that as well in terms of incidences of road rage. So do not engage. Be safe out there. Good luck on your driver's test. And remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. So we'll get back here. There we go. Heading back, and there we go. Okay, you didn't pass the first time. That is very unfortunate. Sorry to hear that. That is really super bummer. Okay, so you're taking your learner's permit tomorrow, Margaret. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. Good luck. And my friend Blessed is here. Aloha from Hawaii. I hope you and the family are doing well. I saw you on the live. Just wanted to say hello. Have a blessed week and have a happy Thanksgiving, and to you as well, blessed, and to all of you, all of the smart drivers in the United States, in the crazy, crazy world that we are now living in with the pandemic. Oh, let's all just join together. And I'm not a praying person, but I am praying that when Biden comes into office, that he does not close down the American economy. I am double cross fingers that that doesn't happen. We are unfortunately having lockdowns here in parts of Canada. They locked down Toronto and Peel, and you know it didn't work in the spring. I don't know why they think it's going to work again. So anyway, there we go. Okay, excellent. Thanks, Corey. Margaret, last Christmas Day, my friend was driving and a guy got mad that we stopped at the stop sign, started honking at us, and followed for several blocks until he realized she was driving to the police station. Yeah, and you know, Margaret, that's just the best thing to do, is to not engage, because I just don't understand some people's road rage. But you know, the other thing with road rage is that some people are it's not what happens on the roadway, it's the fact that something outside of that has triggered it. And you know, I've had my fair share of road rage incidents, and usually it has something to do with outside of what's going on. Unfortunately, you know, having kids, you know, you're moving houses, those types of things, all of this outside pressures tends to boil up inside of the vehicle. And I had quite a number of them on my bicycle in Australia. I had a guy one day, and he cut me off on a right turn, which is a left turn in Australia because you're on the other side of the road. And he just made the turn right in front of me, and I'm waving my arm. This person actually drove around the block and came back and had a go at me on my bicycle, you know, which was interesting. So that happens too. So be careful when you're on your bicycle. Okay. All right, Anwar, today started snowing in Toronto. Any tips? Yes, Anwar, definitely have a look at the video on how to prepare for driving test in the wintertime. That will definitely help you out. Bernard, Rick Smart Drive, you should consider becoming a CDL Academy instructor. You actually care about teaching future new drivers, and like most instructors out there, like a Roadmaster. Okay, Bernard, maybe you could send me some information about that, because I'm not aware of that. But I am a CDL instructor, and I am working hard to book vehicles right now. What I'm working on right now, I'll just tell you this for all the smart drivers out there, I'm working on frequently asked questions for all of the states and provinces. I'm putting that together, you know, fighting with the website, and we finally got some software that will work. I'm working through that. I should have the top 10 states up, the top 10 most populated states up by Wednesday. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers. So that's California, Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio, Michigan, North Carolina, Georgia. I'm missing 2. Pennsylvania. Did I say Pennsylvania? New Jersey? There's one more that I'm missing. But anyway, those are the top 10 states. And if you want your state done, just send me an email, and I'll be more than happy to put up those frequently asked questions for you over at the website. So I'm hoping to have those done for Christmas is what I'm doing. Excellent. Okay, Nikita, thank you very much. Bernard, I still get nervous driving a semi, and that's good, Bernard, because it keeps you sharp. Even if you're a little bit scared, you know, when you're doing things, driving a semi, and a semi is a lot of responsibility because you know, it's not like a car. You can't turn it around in somebody's driveway. And now you've got 3 dimensions you need to be worried about when you're driving a big semi-truck, because maximum height is 4.15 meters in Canada, and it's 13 feet 6 inches, not 12, 13 feet 6 inches in the United States there. Unless you're in the state of New York, then it's a little bit different. So yeah, that's really good. Bernard, I went to a horrible school. Oh yeah, Bernard, please don't tell me about that. The last school that I worked for, I was not impressed with them at all. Felix, are instructors a bit more lenient with winter drive tests or bad weather conditions? Felix, yes they are. Excellent question. And I'll just talk about that for a little bit. Okay, quite a number of things are different in the wintertime, especially if the roads are snow covered. First and foremost, you don't have to figure out where the stopping position is at the intersection in the wintertime because roads are snow covered. So therefore, you just have to stop before the sidewalk. And once you stop completely before the sidewalk, then you creep up, treat it as a yield, give way to all of the road users. When the way is clear, then you proceed. It's that simple in the wintertime. The other thing in the wintertime is that when you parallel park, you don't have to parallel park 8 to 12 inches from the curb as you do in the summertime, because you just need to get in next to the snowbank. Because there's one thing that driving examiners will not do. They will not push you out of the snowbank. If you get stuck in the wintertime, snowbank, the driving examiner, he or she will just get out of the car and they'll just go back to the driving test center. They'll wait for you to get it out yourself. And unfortunately, you'll have to come back and book a driver's test, okay? So those are a couple things that are easier in the wintertime. The other thing is you don't have to drive the posted speed limit. Just drive to the conditions of the roadway. And as well, if there's a bit of snow and those types of things on the roads in the wintertime when you're taking your driver's test, driving examiners are going to tend to stick to the major roads because the major roads are going to be plowed and salted first, not the residential areas. So if there's a layer of snow, if you've had 6 inches of snow, they're not going to take you into the residential area. They're going to keep you on the main roads. So that's the other thing about it. If it's super cold in the wintertime, like say minus 20 degrees Celsius or minus, I think that's about minus 18 degrees Fahrenheit, the other thing is that traffic flow is going to be moving slower. It's just a matter of course. And so you won't have to be driving the posted speed limit in the wintertime, and you just, break back from the intersection, creep up to the intersection where you actually want to stop, and it's that simple. It's actually much more forgiving in the wintertime. And with COVID and the difficulty of getting driving tests, you're much more likely to get a cancellation in the wintertime, or you're likely to get an actual appointment time, because I know that a lot of people, a lot of smart drivers are having difficulty getting a test right now with this COVID and the pandemic and those types of things, okay? So those are a lot of reasons that I would encourage you to take your driver's test in the wintertime. And the video I put up 2 weeks ago was about that very thing. My friend Tim is here. Google Digest of Motor Laws. AAA has a good traffic law reference for North America. There you go, an excellent reference. And my friend Tim, Drive Smart BC. If you want to know anything about traffic laws and regulations and legislation here in the province of British Columbia, definitely check out Tim's site, Drive Smart BC. Excellent resource over there. And Tim himself is a retired RCMP police constable. So excellent information there. So check that out. Gur, hi Rick, how are you? Just wanted to ask if you can give some tips to drive on icy roads. I'm a truck driver, just started my career in trucking. Excellent. Okay, so Gur, we come back to space management, okay? And it becomes even more important in a large vehicle, especially in the wintertime, because you're dealing with a tractor trailer unit, you're dealing with a truck and a trailer, and you've got a trailer that weighs anywhere from 2 to 10 times what the tractor weighs. Not 10 times, unless you're pulling Super Bs. Maybe it'll be 10 times. But say you're running in the States. Gur, just let me know whether you're running in the States or you're running in Canada. Okay, so let's say that you're running in the States. Okay, so it's 80,000 pounds, truck and trailer and load. So the tractor weighs 25,000, 28,000 pounds with a full load of fuel on. So the rest of that, the other, doing the math in my head here, 50,000 pounds, so twice as much, the trailer weighs twice as much. If that trailer decides that it's going to go somewhere because it's going sideways and out into the rhubarb, the ditch, the proverbial ditch, then that trailer is going to take you where it wants to go, and there isn't anything you're going to do about it. So in the winter time, make sure that you have power to the tractor anytime you're in curves, corners, or turns, okay? That is absolute, that is a must. So anytime that you're coming into a curve, corner, or turn on ice, make sure you slow down back from the curve or corner, and then you don't have to be accelerating going around the corner, curve, or turn, but you need to have power to the towing unit, because you want the truck to be out in front of that trailer, okay? The other thing I come back to again is space management. Make sure that you have good following distance in front of you so that you don't have to do aggressive braking, especially when you're on ice, because what happens when you're on ice and you got the truck and trailer, we all know that it's going to fold up. It's going to start to jackknife. So make sure that when you're braking, when you're a new truck or trailer driver, tractor trailer driver, or anybody pulling a trailer for that matter in the wintertime, you got a trailer with 4 sleds on it, 4 snowmobiles. Make sure that when you're coming up and you're braking, make sure you're looking in those mirrors, because if that trailer starts to come around, you want to get off the brakes. All right. So following distance, make sure that you got good following distance. If you know the roads are icy, make sure that you're back so that you can nice gentle brake. Now the other thing, Gur, that you might get into trouble with is, you might get the tractor to spin out from underneath the trailer. And they've actually shown that if you lock up the the drive tires on a semi-trailer, the truck will actually come out from underneath the trailer, and that could potentially cause you to jackknife as well. So make sure that, you know, nice and easy on the brakes on a tractor trailer unit in the wintertime. And that all comes down to your following distance. Make sure that you're in that kind of 4 to 5 second following distance minimum all the time. Okay, be vigilant about that. And there, Corey's put up the video for us on managing space around your vehicle. Excellent. And Brendan has got his road test on the 4th of December. That's awesome. Good luck on your driver's test there. Ben, I get yelled at from my second for stall parking for not doing it right. Oh, Ben, it sounds like you had an ogre for a driving examiner. Was that your actually driving examiner, or was that the driving instructor, Ben? Wrench, I just finished my first year of having my license in Colorado. Glad that I haven't had any issues on the roads. Thank you so much for your videos. They're very helpful. That's awesome. Congratulations, Wrench, on getting through your first year. That's brilliant. And for new drivers, the first year, that really is a big milestone if you manage to get through that safely. Okay, Gur, so you're in Canada, so you might be pulling, sorry, I should have asked you this, Gur. Are you in Eastern Canada or are you in Western Canada? Because if you're in Eastern Canada, you're probably going to be pulling tandems and tridems. You're not going to be pulling Super Bs, which are going to be running out quite a bit more. And Ben, or not Ben, Jaden, my friend, you got a question up here somewhere. There it is. I wish I would stay, but I'm going to have to go to bed. Okay, thank you, Jaden, for letting us know. Have a good sleep, my friend. Ben, the driving instructor. Oh, that's unfortunate. Really unfortunate. Sorry to hear that, Ben. Tim, and use all the brakes, hand valves only cause problems. Yeah, Tim, that is awesome. And I don't even recommend that truck drivers be using the handbrake in the summertime, let alone in the wintertime. Yeah, never touch that. If you got a hand valve that applies the trailer brakes independently of the truck, do not be using that in the wintertime. Use the foot valve or the brake pedal, and that will balance brake all your brakes on the vehicle. And as well, there's an automatic front wheel limiting valve which will limit the amount of braking to the steer tires as well. It's not until you're in a massive, you know, emergency braking situation that you're going to get any braking to the front brakes. So know that most of your braking is going to be on the rear tandems and the rear trailer as well. Gur, you're in Western Canada. Okay, so Gur, are you pulling any Super Bs, or are you just pulling tandem and tridem trailers? Tridem being 3-axle trailers. Ravina, your videos are very helpful. I passed my license test in the first attempt, which was a year ago, and I would like to say thank you. And that is really awesome. Really touched, Ravina, that you came back and let us know that not only did you get your license a year ago, but that you had a year of driving well, being safe, and being a smarter driver. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. That is a huge milestone. Excellent. Sammy, I had my first road test on Monday, and my examiner docked me marks for not driving into a 7-foot snowbank with my Hyundai. Sammy, did you pass your driver's test on Monday despite the goofiness of that? DC, how risky is it to drive without snow tires? DC, if you have all-weather tires, you're probably going to be okay, because all-weather tires have M and S symbol on it, or the snowflake with the mountain symbol on it. If you have that, you're probably going to be okay. They're not going to be as good as snow tires, as dedicated winter tires on your vehicle, but they will get you through the winter time. I wouldn't recommend you driving all-season tires on your vehicle through the winter time. That's just unsafe, okay? So all-weather tires at minimum in the winter time, which are either the M+S, which stands for mud and snow, or the snowflake symbol on the mountain symbol is what you want. Okay? Ben, you switched to another school after that happened. Yeah, I don't blame you. Driving instructors, there's just no call. There's no reason at all that a driving instructor should be yelling at you. Okay? Katie, how do I get comfortable with making turns? I go too sharp on my turns. And so, Katie, another thing that you want to do if you're too sharp on your curves is you want to go to the parking lot, get those 36-inch, 1-meter tall pylons, and do forward figure eights. And once you get comfortable with the forward figure eights, which will give you a higher level of mastery of both the steering wheel and the gas pedal, then start doing reverse figure eights, and that will really help you out with your turns that are too sharp on the roadway. The other thing you want to do, Katie, is that when you're going through the turn, don't be looking this way. Be looking over there where you actually want the vehicle to go. Because remember, the vehicle always goes where we're looking. So make sure that you're looking in the right place where you want the vehicle to end up, and that will really help you out as well. Colin, I just installed mine on Friday. Thank God, because we just got 10 inches of snow today. Wow, that's a lot of snow. 10 inches of snow. Sammy, I failed because my examiner docked me a lot of marks because I was driving too cautiously, but I took my test like 2 days after a blizzard in Lethbridge, Alberta. I got 110 out of 75 points. Yeah, that's unfortunate, Sammy. Yeah, just do it again. Book it again and go and do it again. That's all I can say to you. Don't let somebody's opinion of you become your reality, okay? But I will caution you as well, pardon the pun, that you can be driving too slow. If you are driving too cautious on a driving test, that's just as bad as being too aggressive. So know that as well. You got to kind of find that fine line. And the other thing that I suggest for people that are unsuccessful on driver's tests, it might be worth your time and money to book a mock driving test with a local driving school. That's money really well invested. Okay. DC, I'm asking because I need to pick up my snow tires and there's 15 centimeters of snow already. Oh, okay. Well, DC, if you're just going to get your winter tires, then you're probably going to be fine to get there. Just make sure that you have good following distance between you and other vehicles and those types of things, and that you brake gently and whatnot. But it's okay if you're just going to get your snow tires, as long as you're not driving through the entire winter with all season tires on. You should be fine. Okay, Rocky, I had my first time this year watching you, Rick, and you're such a nice teacher. I like you. Thank you so much, Rocky, and thank you for being part of the Smart Driver community. That's awesome, really awesome. LTA, as a new school bus driver, as I'm expected to clear the snow off a bus, how do you do that? School bus driver, you can only do what you can do unless they provide equipment for you to get the snow off the top of the school bus. That's not your responsibility. That's the company's responsibility, because you also have the issues of workers' workplace safety, okay? And you can't be expected to get up on top of a bus. I mean, unless they're providing, equipment, ladders and scaffolding and safety equipment that you can get up there safely and push the snow off the top of the vehicle. You are only expected to get the snow off the hood and off the glass around the vehicles and the mirrors so that you can see without obstruction while you're driving the vehicle down the roadway. But the actual snow off the roof of the vehicle, that's not your responsibility. And it's unsafe as well for you to even be up there or even contemplate getting up there to get that snow off the vehicle. So that's my take on that. Okay, excellent. Awesome. Amaris, is the exam harder while in the snow? No, the exam is actually easier, Amaris, while in the snow. And Corey, I think, has put the video up for you on how to drive in the wintertime and how to pass your test. Okay. Tim, what surprised me about my advanced driver training course is that the whole week was spent at 60 kilometers an hour or less, including your figure 8 suggestion. Tim, you know why that is? Oh, this is funny. I'll tell you this story, Tim. When I was teaching the instructor trainer course, I was teaching instructors how to be driving instructors. And one day I was trying to get the instructors to activate the ABS brakes on the car. And they weren't doing it. And they weren't doing it. And they weren't doing it. And finally I just said, listen, this is how you do it. And I ran the car up to like 70 kilometers an hour and nailed the brakes. Like hard ABS activation. And so one of the driving school inspectors, we actually have driving school inspectors, driving school cops here in British Columbia that are hired by ICBC. At the end of the day, he's giving me feedback on how the teaching day went because it was a pilot course. And he actually pulls out the legislation, and there is legislation that you cannot operate a motor vehicle at more than 60 kilometers an hour for test demonstrations. And he actually had printed out the legislation. It was like he was waiting for the opportunity. So what you're saying in terms of your advanced driver training, that is very much why, because there is actually printed legislation in place that you cannot operate a motor vehicle over 60 kilometers an hour for the purposes of testing and demonstration and learning advanced driver training maneuvers. That's where that is, Tim. Yeah, crazy. Colin, have you ever done any high-speed driving courses? Colin, yes, I have done skid school in the tractor trailer, which was a lot of fun. We went down to Eaton Fuller. They have a skid pad in Michigan, and I got an opportunity to do that years and years ago, which was great fun for me because I was already 5 years on the road, and I had a lot of experience with tractor trailers, so I could really kind of work the tractor trailer. And when we got to jackknife the trailer, they had the trailer hooked up to chains, and so you would come around a corner like this, and then they'd get you to pull down on the handspike, which was locking up the trailer tires. And they had a walkie-talkie in the truck, and I come around there, and I'm just gassing on it, and I got that handbrake pulled right on, and I probably held it on for another 5 seconds after they told me to let it go. And what happened was it just rocked up against the chains, which was just great fun for me. So I had a lot of fun doing the skid school course in tractor trailers. Okay, Tim, we were learning precision and where the edges of the vehicle were. Yeah, exactly what you would be doing, Tim, is what I talk about all the time in terms of learning where your vehicle is in space and place, where it is in relationship to the edge of the road, where is it in relation to the pylons, where is it in relation to the curb, where is it in relation to the fire hydrant or whatnot, or all those things. And this whole space management and what you're talking about in terms of precision and where the edge of the vehicle is, you start climbing into buses and into tractor trailer units, and all of that, where your vehicle is in space and place, where your vehicle is in relation to other road users and fixed objects, that is absolutely paramount. And truck driving schools, not truck driving schools, but trucking companies and busing companies know that for the first year, when drivers don't have experience, and probably in the police department it's the same, that they're getting a lot of vehicles that are being damaged and wrecked and those types of things because drivers simply don't have the training that teaches them where their vehicle is in space and place, where it is in relationship to other fixed objects and other road users and those types of things. So this is why they're doing this advanced training. The decision maker was the only part done at 60 kilometer an hour minimum. Not much sense going faster if needed. Yeah. Andre, Rick, I hope you're doing well and your family is staying safe. Your instruction really helps me daily. You have no idea. And excellent. Thank you so much, Andre, for stopping by and letting us know. So glad that we can help you out. Awesome. Ben, I'm on Facebook. Okay, so you guys got a conversation going. Brilliant. Hybrid, you helped me pass my test. Excellent. And Hybrid, when did you pass your driver's test? It's really awesome. Congratulations on passing your driver's test. And thanks for stopping by and letting us know. And we're really happy that we could help you out. LTL, thanks. We had a few drivers fall off roofs. We don't have any equipment to help us. They don't even give us a clock. Yeah, okay. LTA Productions, that, fall off roofs. Don't get up there. Okay, it's not the danger that okay, so here's the thing. Okay, I drove truck for years. You'd bang into a semi trailer. It'd been snowing. The trailer had been sitting there for 2 or 3 weeks. There's a foot of snow on the top of it. It's very unlikely that chunks of snow are going to be falling off the back of the trailer, okay? Most of the time it just blows off in a big windstorm, and it's not the driver's responsibility. At least I don't think that there's any legislation that indicates that it's the driver's responsibility, because there's a couple of pieces of legislation in place. First, there's the Highway Traffic Act, and then second, there's the Workers' Compensation, the Workplace Industrial Safety Act, okay? So unless the company is providing you equipment to get up there and do that, that's not your issue, because it's just a matter of safety that you should be up there. The other thing for all the other smart drivers, if you're going down the road and you see a large vehicle and you see all this snow blowing off the top of the vehicle, don't be like, oh, a driver should have got up there and no. Hold back or get around the vehicle, stay back a distance or get around the vehicle, because it's beyond the driver's ability. It's the company's responsibility to get up there and get the snow off the top of the vehicle. And I have seen some videos with bus companies where they do have like a bar that's at a certain height, and the school bus can just drive underneath it, and it will knock all the snow off the top of the vehicle. And that's what they should have. If they're worried about it, that's the kind of equipment that they should be having. But as far as commercial drivers, CDL drivers getting up on the top of the vehicle and pushing snow off the top of the vehicle, first of all, the top of the vehicle is made of aluminum. It's cold, and the snow is wet, and there's absolutely no traction, and it is super dangerous for you to be up there. So don't even think about getting up there to get that snow off the top of the vehicle. That's simply not your responsibility. Okay, and I can't emphasize that enough to keep yourself safe. Kennedy, thank you so much for your training. I'm always learning from you. Looking forward to your schedule my road test soon. Excellent. And Kennedy, schedule your road test. Get it going, because the pandemic, it's tough to get a test. So you're probably looking minimum 6 weeks to get a driver's test right now. So make sure you book that as soon as you can, Kennedy, and get a goal in mind. LTA, you're most welcome, my friend. Ben, what should I do not to fail my driver's test the next time? Ben, have a look at the video on what happens if you fail your driver's test. Definitely review what went wrong, what the feedback the examiner gave you, and then the other thing, just practice those things, okay? And if you've got snow in Minnesota, then you're going to have to deal with that as well, and just practice driving in the snow and doing as much of that as you can. Ben, hey Rick, I've been doing your left turns jig jog and finding it very helpful. I was driving in London, Ontario recently with my dad in the car, and he freaked out when I did the jig jog. He says it's unpredictable. Thoughts? No, it's not unpredictable, Ben. And as long as when you come up and you do the jig jog, when you move to the left, you have to make sure that you bring the tires back to straight. Because you have to move over. It's something that you have to do, because if there's a large vehicle on the other side of the intersection, you can't possibly see around that. I mean, what is your dad thinking about how you're going to be able to see past that large vehicle on the other side of the intersection? Because you can't sit at the intersection to wait for that vehicle on the other side to make their left turn or clear the intersection. You have to do the jig jog to get your vehicle over to the left. So it's a little bit of a, I guess the other thing that might have freaked your dad out too was that you kind of got to take the line off the outside of that vehicle on the other side, and you can't cross over that. So you have to come up to that line and then bring it back and bring your steer tires straight. So maybe it was just kind of the way you did it that freaked your dad out. But just if you're, And what Corey just said there as well, as long as you are not jig-jogging into the opening lane midway, there shouldn't be any reason for concern. Yeah, the idea is to have a firmer view of the opposing lanes to make it safe. Exactly what Corey said there. As long as you're not deviating into the oncoming lane, you're just fine, okay? But you do have to move over to the left so you can see oncoming traffic so that you can make your left-hand turn. All right. Excellent. So Ben, you got really good feedback from the driving examiner, so you know exactly what you do. You've got your sheet as well. And if you need any help, Ben, then my other suggestion would be to go to a driving school and work with a driving instructor on those very specific things that you did wrong on your driving test. And the other thing is Ben, don't beat yourself up over that because you weren't successful on your first attempt at your driver's license, okay? I know it's hard to do that, but remember, fail. First attempt in learning. It's not, don't see it that way. Just see it as an opportunity. This is just a stepping stone to getting your license. You're going to be successful in getting your driver's license, okay? Excellent. Catherine, how are you, my friend? I'm doing awesome. Excellent. Okay. So, okay. Ben, where were you in London? Which intersection were you at when you did the jig jog with your dad? Because I lived in London for a long time. I probably even know which intersection you were at. Okay, excellent. So this week we do have the American Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday. And as well, we have Black Friday coming up this Friday. Obviously, it's Black Friday. Didn't say that very well. We do have a sale coming up on Friday for courses over at the Smart Drive Test website. All of the course material over at the Smart Drive Test website will be 35% off. So definitely have a look on the community tab on Friday and you can find the code to go over to the Smart Drive Test website and pick up any courses you may have been kind of waiting for the Black Friday sale. Because, I mean, we're all waiting for the Black Friday sale. I'm waiting because I want to replace my bat, my big arse telly, because my 55-inch telly crapped out, and now I'm watching on a little TV. And once you have a big television, it's really tough to go back to a little telly. So yeah, I'm waiting for Black Friday too. Okay. Excellent. So Ben, you're over it. You've moved on and you're already back driving. That's awesome. Ben is saying, stay home on Black Friday so that you can avoid the traffic and the crowds. But yeah, that's part of the fun of Black Friday, you know, is to go out and be crazy in the crowds and those types of things. The other thing, just on that note with Ben, with the craziness and the crowds and driving and those types of things, I mean, the other thing is that you don't have to drive into the Walmart parking lot. You could drive and park a few blocks away and then walk to the Walmart. And then, you know, I guess there is always the trouble if you did pick up something like the bat, which I'm going to buy, you have to get it back to your car. So that might pose a challenge. Take your friend with you, and then your friend can bring it out in the cart. Well, you go get the car, and then you just pull up in front, and then you load it up, and then you just drive away. You don't actually have to park in the parking lot. So there's an option for you for avoiding the parking lots on Friday with all the craziness. Sai, can you make videos on how to brake smoothly and how to maintain speed? So Sai, we do have a video, and Corey will put that up for you, on how to control the gas pedal. And we also have a video on braking smoothly. Basically, that's doing the slow speed maneuvers in the parking lot, and that will teach you mastery of the primary controls, which is the steering wheel, the brake, and the throttle. And all of that will help you out, and you will gain a higher mastery of those controls with doing those slow speed maneuvers in the parking lot. So look at the COVID video on slow speed maneuvers. And speaking about the COVID maneuvers, closed circuit testing and those types of things, I'm going to revisit closed circuit testing, COVID, those types of things, in case we close down again, which I really hope we don't. Oh, please. We all need to write letters to President Biden that he's not going to close down the American economy for 2 months, okay? Let's not have this again, because unfortunately for all the smart drivers out there who want to take road tests and get their license coming in the spring and those types of things, I mean, if they close down the American economy for 2 months, I'm not sure how that the DMVs there are ever going to catch up with the backlog. I mean, there are already some crazy numbers of people who are just awful waiting lists, you know, 6 weeks, 8 months, not 8 months, 6 weeks or 2 months to get a driver's test. I have heard smart drivers who've been unsuccessful on a driver's test in October, November, who are now waiting until January to get a rebook. So let's really hope that that doesn't happen. Yes. Thank you, Michael. Jordan, I watch dozens of your videos every day. I took my driver's test 10 days ago and passed. The instructor said I did really well, but my 360 scan could use some work. Excellent. So you're just working on that. That's good feedback, though. But yeah, definitely when you're reversing, make sure you're doing a 360-degree scan and looking around the vehicle before you're backing up. Awesome. Colin passed my test, so I was going down the highway, and I noticed how much drivers go over the speed limit. It's difficult for not wanting to speed with an N. Yes, it's really tough, Colin. However, Colin, that as long as you're keeping up with the traffic flow for the most part, you know, you're not going to be going over the speed limit by too much. So you'll be okay, and you'll be more predictable as long as you're keeping up with the traffic flow. It's actually interesting, Colin, and all the other smart drivers, because I'm reading driver's handbooks from every state and province, and I was just doing Florida. And it's interesting that they're saying that, you know, the exemption, and maybe if Tim is still here, he can kind of weigh in on this in terms from a perspective of a retired police officer. But, you know, because I advocate that after you get your license, that you keep up with traffic flow so that you stay predictable on the roadways. You know, of course, within reason. I mean, if the traffic flow is 20 miles an hour over the posted speed limit, then don't keep up with the traffic flow. That's just crazy. And, you know, it's interesting that the Florida, you know, these handbooks, I don't know whether they go back and actually have somebody proofread them for consistencies, for example, because the Florida driver's handbook, for example, says that being able to drive 10 miles an hour over the posted speed limit is a myth. But then at one and the same time, 4 pages later, they say, keep up with the traffic flow so that you stay safe on the roadways. And it's like, those two things contradict one another, because you can the speed, the traffic flow is always going to be 5 to 10 miles an hour over what the posted speed limit, which is interesting. So, they're always driving manuals or driver's handbooks they're always contradicting themselves, and I find contradictions in them all the time, which just drives, which is like why it's so difficult for new drivers to actually get their first license, because there's so much contradicting information. Princess Savvy, hello there. I am doing my driver's test tomorrow at 11 a.m. Wish me luck. Good luck on your driver's test there in the morning. You're going to do awesome. And Princess Savvy, if you're taking your own vehicle, make sure that you do a pre-trip inspection on your vehicle before you show up at the driver's test center, because the driving examiner will do a mini pre-trip inspection on your vehicle, and you don't want to be denied because you didn't, you have a brake light out or something like that. So make sure you do a mini pre-trip inspection. Tim just said it there. The nail with the head sticking up gets the hammer. So the vehicle, what he means, if I interpret this correctly, what Tim means is that if you're going down the highway and all the vehicles are doing the same amount of speed, so say for example that the speed limit is 60 miles an hour, but all the cars are doing 65 miles an hour, then nothing's going to happen. But if you got one car, you got all the vehicles on a multi-lane road doing 65 mile an hour, and you got one guy screaming along at 72, 73 mile an hour, what Tim's saying is the person doing 72, 73 mile an hour, even if there's 2 or 3 of them together, they're the ones that are going to get dinged. Tim says, if you are not in the pack alone, beware. Yeah, excellent. And that's generally how it goes for speeding. Okay. Katie, our examiner is the state police officer, which makes me nervous. Katie, are they in uniform there when they're testing you? Because, yeah, that would make me nervous, too, if it was a police officer in uniform. That would rattle me even. So, Ben, I either go the speed limit or the traffic flow if possible already with practice. Yes, make sure for the preparation for your driver's test there, Ben, that you're doing the posted speed limit. Princess Savvy, I'm taking on the company car, $40 more. Total is going to be 105 USD. Excellent. And so, Princess Savvy, if you're taking the school car, make sure that when they show up in the morning or you go to the driving school, ask the driving examiner if he or she did a pre-trip inspection in too, because that should be, that's just what we do as driving instructors, that before we take you down for your driver's test, we always make sure we do a pre-trip inspection on the vehicle. Doesn't matter what class of license it is. Okay. Margaret, how do you deal with groups of motorcycles flying past you and around you on the highway? The BQE, the Brooklyn Queens Expressway, is like a racetrack at night with bikes racing. I know that can be very intimidating, Margaret. I've had that happen. They're very noisy, incredibly noisy, actually, to the point where there's vibration through your vehicle and through you. But it comes back to, again, what I was talking about in terms of the road rage, not being distracted by what other drivers are doing on the roadway. It's really about focusing in on your instrument panel, making sure that you're maintaining your speed limit, and then just simply looking farther down the road and make sure that you're staying in your lane, and just let the bikes go around you, because most of the time, as you indicated, they're going to be going faster than you. And yes, it's a bit startling, but you kind of, if you're on the BQE, the Brooklyn Queens Expressway there in New York, you just need to know that, there's a good chance it's going to do, and you can hear them coming, and it's not going to be a big surprise for you. So really, it's about holding your own and focusing on what you're doing. Epic, one more thing about urban freeways, if stuck in gridlock, is that there's a lot of horn blowers and unsafe lane changes. Do you have any tips on how to drive in urban freeways and deal with horn blowers? Epic, again, it's just about focusing on what you're doing. Make sure that you don't get too close to the vehicles in front of you. Make sure that you can see the tires of the vehicle in front of you, making clear contact with the pavement. because when you're in bumper to bumper traffic on interstates and on freeways, your attention's going to wane. It's just a matter of course, because you're there for like half an hour, 20 minutes, an hour, however long you're out on the interstate that's backed up. And, you know, you need to have that buffer of space in front of your vehicle. And, you know, if other vehicles want to move into that lane, then just let them move in. Let them go and have their crash somewhere else, because people are going to be aggressive, because people, you know, that is just a recipe for drivers becoming aggressive and drivers having short tempers and those types of things. So just take your time and do what you can when you're on congested highways. Princess Savvy, I will. Thank you. They will be conducting reverse parking, parallel parking, highway driving, and general driving. Yes. Princess Savvy, did you tell me where you're taking your driver's test? I don't remember that. Okay, just remind me if you don't mind. Colin, the highway I was on was 100 kilometer an hour, and the drivers were going around 120, 140. So it was difficult, but for sure something I'll practice on more. Yeah. Colin, you weren't on the 401, were you, in Ontario? Because that's pretty normal for the 401 in Ontario. But yeah, it depends on what road you're on and how fast the traffic flow is. Colin, we have a road here, 97C, which comes down from Kamloops to Vernon. The posted speed limit on that, for the most part, is 90 kilometers an hour. But I've been on that road hundreds of times, and the traffic flow on that road is always 110. It's always 110. It's the same as the road that goes from Vernon down to Kelowna, Highway 97. It's the same thing. The posted speed limit's 90. The traffic flow is 110. So it will depend what road you're on, what the traffic flow is. Okay? And there's a great tip from Tim about what he was saying with motorcycles, and that's another point to keep in mind for those of you out there who are riding with motorcycles, is to be doubly careful. Make sure that you're doing your shoulder checks. Make sure you're checking your mirrors before you're making lane changes. Make sure you have a minimum of 3 flashes on the signals before you start to move the vehicle from one lane to the other with motorcycles around you. Make sure that you give them lots of notice that that's what you're going to be doing, is moving over to the other lane, so that, you know, you're not sideswiping a motorcycle and those types of things. Really great information there. Jordan, I waited since February. Now they're booking for March up northern BC. They just started opening up again and got a few dates open, but now it looks like lockdown soon again. Oh, please, let's all write our politicians and tell them that lockdown does not work. It didn't work in the spring. It's not going to work again. So start writing your politicians and tell them we do not want lockdown again. We don't want shutdown. It doesn't work. It simply doesn't work. Princess Savvy, I'm taking my driver's test at a center called Easy Way. Where is that, Princess Savvy? Is that in Ontario, Canada, United States? Where? I don't know where that is. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Just checking through all the comments here to make sure I got everybody. So that's really great. So we're getting near the end here. So again, American Thanksgiving. Everybody be safe for the American Thanksgiving. I know that it's crazy. And I know that a lot of people are postponing travel and celebrations and plans with their families and friends and those types of things. And that's really unfortunate because of the pandemic. And I know I've been waiting since the spring to make a trip into the United States. And I wanted to do a lot of videos there. I wanted to also make videos, international videos, and start getting around the world and doing videos for that, for driver's tests and those types of things. I mean, I have been able to get a lot of good work here done, but you know, I'm getting to the point in my life where I just want to go out and hug random strangers, because this is really getting crazy. Okay, so Princess Savvy, you're doing it in Michigan. Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, so you got all that stuff to do. So it sounds like you've got it well in hand. You're going to do really great. Good luck on your driver's test tomorrow. Drop back and let us know how you go. I'm sure you're going to do awesome. Okay. And just checking to see whether... Yeah, so you basically reverse parking, parallel parking, highway driving, and general driving. And Princess, do you have snow where you are? Where you live there in Michigan? Do they have snow yet? Michael, I said it before and I'll say it again. Motorcyclists and pickup truck drivers are the most aggressive drivers. And, excuse me. And you know something, Michael? That may sound like an opinion, but there's actually statistics to back up that opinion. That's actually a fact, that pickup truck drivers and motorcycle riders are actually tend to be more aggressive than the general population. And you know, there's insurance statistics to prove that fact. So for the rest of the smart drivers out there, what that means is that if you're driving around pickup truck drivers or you're driving around motorcycles, you know, give them a wide berth, increase your following distance, so that, you know, road rage, which what we were talking about, which was tonight's live stream's topic, was to keep yourself safe. And know that if you're around motorcycles or you're around pickup trucks, that just to increase your following distance and stay away from them. If you're on a multi-lane road, change lanes and those types of things, and just get around them and either, you know, get in front of them or just stay behind them and have a good following distance. And that way it's going to keep you safe when you're on the road. Okay, so Princess Savvy, so light snow, but it's not sticking. So basically what you're going to be dealing with is essentially you're just going to be dealing with wet roads. So you'll be really good tomorrow when you're taking your test. Obviously that you're going to be great. You're going to be awesome. Jordan, it definitely is getting crazy. I went to shake a friend's hand I haven't seen in a while, and they just put their elbow up to, yeah, to me, social distancing. Social distancing sucks. I tend to agree. Yeah, so Michael says it'll be gone tomorrow. So there's how to pass a driving test in snow and ice. Corey put that up for us as well. Thank you so much for that. That's awesome. Oh. Oh, and cab drivers. Yes, I was a taxi driver once. I will agree with that taxi drivers tend to be a bit more aggressive, especially when you're in your 20s too. Epic. If you go to the United Kingdom and Australia, perhaps find similar driving instructors that do YouTube videos. Just like you, my question is that how hard is it to adjust between driving left and right? Epic, actually, it's not that difficult. It's not as difficult as you think. And the reason for that is that you're still sitting in the center of the road. So when you drive on the left side of the road, you move to the other side of the vehicle. So relatively speaking, you are still in the center of the roadway, which isn't that much more difficult. And the pedals, the accelerator, the brake, and the clutch are still all in the same place in the footwell. And if you're driving a manual transmission, first is still over to the left and up. So the transmissions are exactly the same. So the cars really aren't that different. You're still, relatively speaking, sitting in the center of the roadway. And if there's traffic around, then you're good to go. The only time that you get into trouble when you move from driving on the right side of the road to the left side of the road is when there isn't any other traffic on the roadway. That's the one time that you have to be particularly careful when you move from driving on one side of the road to the other. Jay, I just had my road test in North Carolina. I was supposed to make 3-point turn from the center of the parking lot. They failed me because I didn't follow the instructors. It's hard to hear from the mask. Yeah, and on that note, Jay, and that's really a drag that you didn't pass your driver's test because you couldn't hear. Corey will put up the video for you on 3-point turns in a parking lot. That may help you out as well. And the other thing is, if you can't hear, just get the instructor, just force him or her, not the instructor, the examiner rather, to come closer and give you more instructions. Because if you can't hear instructions, you can't be expected to execute those maneuvers that they want you to do for the purposes of the driving test. So make sure that you force them to speak up or repeat so that you can hear what you need to do for the purposes of your driver's test. And this goes for all smart drivers who are working in parking lots and working with driving examiners who are wearing a mask, because it is definitely more difficult to hear instructions when somebody's wearing a mask. Okay, so know that. DC, you're most welcome. Excellent. Thank you so much, Tim, and thank you for your contribution. It's always great to have you here and contributing to the conversation. Always awesome. Thank you, my friend. Okay, Wrench, do you have any tips for night driving when the lights from the car behind reflect off your side mirrors and blind you? Yes, Wrench, one of the things that I suggest you do is if that is happening a lot, and if they're following too close, then to simply just pull over and let them go by. Okay, you can flip the switch underneath the center mirror that will reflect some of that glare, stop some of that glare. And but and also Corey will put the video up for you on driving at night, and that will give you some more tips about driving at night as well. Okay. Excellent. Farah, hi, please. I'm waiting. G2 test. How can you help me, please? Farah, have a look at the videos here on the channel. This will definitely help you out and get you going for your G2 test there. Farah, do you have a G2 test booked yet? Jordan, I have a small car and a lot of trucks in my city and the headlights are blinding. Yes. Yeah, that's just the lights on some of these pickup trucks and other vehicles now are just getting crazy in terms of how bright they are at night. So there's the video on K-turns in a parking lot, and Corey will also get the night driving video for you, and that'll help you out as well. All right, so we're going to leave it there for tonight. Congratulations to all the smart drivers who passed their driver's test in the last couple of weeks. Remember, easier to pass your driver's test in the winter time, so definitely get your test booked and set that as a goal and start working towards that. For everybody who has a driver's test coming up this week, good luck on that. And remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. Have a great night. Bye now.